Groceries in Sri Lanka have become a major financial burden for many families, but the underlying costs often originate far away from the local wholesale market. Every item on the store shelf first passes through massive storage hubs known as marine container depots. These restricted zones are where imported goods are held immediately after they touch land. For years, these industrial yards operated with almost no oversight. Private depot operators were free to set their own storage fees, often inflating the cost of keeping goods in transit and slowing down the national supply chain. When corporations demand spiraling storage fees, those costs move through the supply chain until they reach the retail counter. It functions as a hidden tax, quietly raising the price of basic necessities for every citizen. To address these rising costs, the NPP government introduced the Licensing of Container Depot Operators Act of 2026. This law establishes the first comprehensive legal framework to regulate how these depots can charge for their services. This legislation acts as a structural defense for the economy, using state authority to ensure that private logistics companies cannot use their position to engage in price gouging. Section 3 of the Act ends the era of unregulated logistics around the Colombo port. No entity is permitted to operate a container depot without a formal license issued by the Director General of Merchant Shipping. This license requires the operator to be a company incorporated under the Companies Act of 2007. This ensures every depot has a clear legal identity and can be held financially accountable for its actions. Section 12 introduces a new pricing model, where the minister sets maximum rates for depot services. These rates must be fair and affordable. Before finalizing, rates are published on the ministry's website, opening a 30-day window for public feedback to ensure transparency and consensus. This transparency prevents the logistics industry from making decisions in private. By including a public comment period, the law subjects corporate pricing to the needs of the broader national economy. To ensure these rules are followed, the Act includes severe enforcement protocols designed to dismantle entrenched monopolistic behavior. Section 14 grants the Director General the power to conduct unannounced inspections at any hour. Officials can enter any depot to examine records and verify that the operator is complying with the new standards. Any company found violating the Act or providing misleading information faces the immediate suspension or cancellation of its operating license. This penalty effectively removes non-compliant operators from the industry entirely. Sections 17 and 18 define monopolizing the depot business as a criminal offense. Convicted individuals and corporate officers face fines of up to 10 million rupees and the possibility of 2 years in prison. The government uses these heavy penalties to ensure compliance. The law creates a credible threat of closure and criminal liability for any executive who attempts to restrict competition or manipulate prices. Regulating the cost of moving a single shipping container has a direct impact on the national supply chain. Because depot operators now risk losing their licenses for unfair practices, they are forced to focus on competitive pricing and operational efficiency. This removes the artificial scarcity that previously drove up storage costs. Reducing these storage fees lowers one of the primary overhead costs for importers. When these savings are realized at the port, it reduces the upward pressure on the final retail price of essentials like food and medicine. This legislative reform is a key part of the NPP government's broader effort to stabilize the economy. By targeting the beginning of the supply chain, the Act addresses the root causes of inflation in the logistics sector. The container depot industry is now a highly regulated sector. It functions as a utility designed to support national trade rather than a private market controlled by a few wealthy entities. Long-term relief for the public depends on these types of structural legal defenses. By dismantling hidden corporate monopolies, the government provides a necessary safeguard for the nation's cost of living.